In this lesson, we show how to use AWS Command Line interface on an AWS instance and allow us to use it to create instance, start and stop the instance, and to associate the elastic IP address with a particular instance. It allows us to have programmable control on the AWS instance. For example, it allows us to pick up 3 instances geographically separated by 8 hours around the globe and wake them up every 8 hours in a round-robin fashion to save money and be more efficient. EC2 API is useful when we are dealing with large scale of systems or dealing with complex management requirements. To make an image from an instance, we simply select the instance and then select the image menu item in the action menu, and choose the create image menu item. Enter the image names we are going to use for other people or yourself to recognize, and then provide a short descriptions, and then click the create image button on the lower right, and it will take a minute to generate this image, and it's pretty fast. Basically, it's just copy whatever the file and content of your image and save that as a template for other people to clone. To launching an image or to clone the image, we click AMI entry in the image section of the left panel, and we select the Coursera CS 691 AMI1 entry here, and then select the launch menu in the actions menu. We will go through the same set of configuration process, the 7-step process like before, and but instead of using AMI Amazon the image, we are now using our own customized one. Don't forget to choose the next configure instance detail. Don't do the launching right away, because we need to specify the tag name so that we can uniquely identify the instance when they are listing in the dashboard in step 5. Okay, so we choose to name this instance cchild_ami2 so that we can tell them apart from the previous one. After setting the security group, we open up OpenSSL, HTTP and HTTPS, and also set our home IP address. And then we can launch in the instance. And it will start within a minute. It's amazing how fast they are. Used to be a few minutes, quite a few minutes. Now we can stop and start from our first instance to control the second instance. Using the AWS EC2 stop instance command for, and then we would like to restart them, we just use AWS EC2 start instance. To create a new instance, we can using the AWS EC2 run under _instance, and this name is kind of misleading. It's not really the instance already there. Here is actually creating the instance. So to actually start and stop, we are not using run. We are using start and stop dash instance. Run instance is actually creating it from an image. We first need to find out what are the image ID, specific image ID. It can be from AWS, can be from third-party vendor, or can be from our own creations. And then we also need to find out what is the security group ID. And this security group ID will set up and open up the specific port, the firewall, to allow outside access. We can find the security group ID if, let's say, we like to using the same image one we set up, instance we set up. We can click on the instance and then click on the security group information, which show up in the lower right panel, and click on that the security group wizard 1, and it will pop up and showing you the entry of the security group. And right there in the second entry, there's a ID start with SG. SG is a shorthand notation for security groups. SG followed by some number. Copies are done. That's what we are going to use. And know that we also need some key, the private key to start this instance, so that they can be put into the .sss command. So the command for the EC2 run instance is AWS EC2 run-instance, and the first option here is the image ID. We actually use a copy from the our own AWI image, their ID, and then we copy from our instance security group ID, and the option called count allow us to specify how many instances we are going to copy from this particular image. And actually, you can actually simultaneously making multiple instances. In the case of constructing a load balancing cluster, if you have 5 the same 5 instances from the same image, you can actually specify minus count 5. And instance type, we can specify what is the size of the computation size of the image. Is a T2 micro or M4 medium or large. And we also specify the key and the private key which are going to use corresponding to the public key will be put in the SS authorized key. And we use -- key name as an option. And one common mistake people will do is they type in the whole file name, even with a .pem as a file extension. Actually, here we shouldn't put a .pem file extension, just the leading part of the file name. Okay, and the query string basically allow us to retrieve specific instance ID and return. And depending on how you specify in your configuration step, it can be returned as a text, can be a table, or can be a JSON object. To find the new instance just created, we can using the command AWS EC2 describe instance. If we didn't put any option, it will basically listing all the instance we already have in the particular default region. In our case, it's Ohio. From this information, if you're searching through it, you can look for the instance ID, and you will find out one of them is a new one, ending with a 3D7. On the EC2 dashboard, there is also, we can see it in the management console, there is no name tag. And so how can we, now the question becomes, how can we add a name tag so that we can distinguish this particular instance? And it turned out there's AWS EC2 create tag. Okay, once we create the instance, we can then go back using this create tag command to insert the to put the name in place, so that in the dashboard we other operator can see the actual name and instance name. And we specify the instance ID, but not in using instance ID with S. We are using the option called -- resources. Somehow these AWS, their naming convention is sometimes mixed up. They try to use the previous convention, and so it's not very consistent. Also, there should be no space between the last option, which is key value pair. So key equal the name, comma, no space, you need to say value equal whatever the value of that name. The name can be have space. If an entry attribute value has a space, you use the quote, double quote to wrap around that. To associate an elastic IP address with the instance, we also have equivalent AWS EC2 CLI command. First, we need to find out what is the elastic IP address, their allocation ID, the unique ID identified. So everything's go by the ID in the AWS CLI. We then use the AWS EC2 associate dash address. That's a command to associate elastic IP address with the instance. You can verify the result by typing the SSH to the instance with that elastic IP address, or check the associations in the EC2 management console. And then you can verify indeed that particular instance is now bind with that IP address, and you are successful, be able to log in.